I'll have to have 2 videos now. Okay, so add event, on actor, end overlap. So these are the 2 events that's going to occur. And we want to move the position of this door. Oops. So I'll just drag this down as well. And we're going to set the door's rotation. And we'll use the relative rotation instead of the world rotation. Don't ask why. Yet. Okay, so now we want the door to go 90 degrees in the z-axis. So if I start overlapping the door, it'll open, and when I leave, it'll close. There it opens, there it closes. But it's not that simple, because we don't want our door just to flip open. We want it to do a timeline, which means we have to put a timeline here and here. Now, could you use the same timeline and reverse it? Yes, probably that would be fine. In fact, let's not do that. No, you can't do that for this one because there's too much stuff going on. So I'm going to play this one from start. I'll play this one from start, and it'll update. Now, this rotation is a rotator variable. It's got an X, Y, and Z axis. We only need to mess with the Z. So I'm actually going to split this pin structure so I can just see the 3 different floats that make up those. And I only want to worry about the Z axis. So in my timeline, I don't have to do a vector. I don't need all 3. I just need to float. So I can set it at 0, 0. And 1.5 seconds in, let's do a... Oop. Why can't I see that? Okay, well, I'll just add a key here, and we'll say 1.5 and 150 degrees is what I think I said. So I'll compile that, and then in our other timeline, we have to start with 150 at 0, and then we have to go to, at 1.5 seconds, we have to go to 0. So now it looks the exact opposite in those 2 timelines. And then I'm only going to affect the z-axis. So now, when I walk up to it, it opens. And when I walk away, it closes. So you might think you're done. Well, here's the problem with coding. Why is it doing this? Because it's just going to keep doing that every time you enter and leave, and it's not going to work properly. So what we have to do is we have to create a few variables. We have to do some branches to check and see, are you near the door? I mean, is the door open? So I'm going to have to create 4 booleans on this one. This one is going to say the door is opening. If the door is opening, don't open. So I'm going to make another one. Oops. Can I just duplicate? No. Another variable is going to be door is closing. Another one is going to be door is open. Another one is going to be door is closed. Now the only one of these that's true right now is that the door is closed. That's the default value here is going to be true. So I put on door is closed true. And then before we can open the door, we got to check a bunch of things. We have to see, is the door opening? Is the door closing? And is it currently open? And is it, well, I guess close is kind of redundant. So yeah, it's going to check and see if any of these things are true. And I'm going to do that with an OR Boolean, which I can just add these 3 things to. And if any of these things are true, do not play the timeline. So I have to create a branch here that's going to check, are any of these things true? And if so, nothing happens. It's the opposite of what you might think. We got to do the same thing here. We're not going to start to close the door unless none of these things are true. The door is not opening, the door is not closing, and the door is not closed. So this one says the door is open, this one says the door is closed. And now if all those things are false, it will open. So now things still aren't going to work because we have not said that the door is opening or closing. Which means when the door begins to open, we have to set that the door is currently opening to true. Oops. Now, if you try to open the door again, it's not going to work. When the door is closing, we have to say the door is closing. We have to set it to true. And that has to go here, not there. So now it's going to say, okay, the door is opening, the door is closing. You cannot open or close it. It's in the process of doing something. Okay, well, what about when we're finished? When we're finished, we want to make sure that we have now said the door is currently open and the door is no longer opening. So that becomes false. Once it's closed, we're going to say the door is no longer closing. So that's false. And we're going to say the door is now closed once this timeline is finished. Check. Now if I did everything correct, let's see what happens. I walk up to the door, it opens. I walk away, it closes. So something's wrong with my code. It did not initiate this. So we have to check here. Door is opening. Well, that was set to false, so that should work. Door is closing. That was never set to true, so that should work. Door is closed. The default value is true, but it set it to... Oh, this should say right here, door is closed. No, door is open. Door is closed. Oh, I know what I have to do. Door is open has to be set to the exact opposite. False. And door is opening has to be set to false. So you have to set all three of those things, which means on the bottom one, you also have to make sure that door is open is now set to false, because you're checking all three of those variables. So now, let's see what happens when we walk up to it. It opens. It's still not doing what we want. Well, things get a little bit more complicated. So, in the end, I'm going to open up my old blueprint here, swivel door. I put it in here. What you end up having to do, and I'm going to try to walk you through this code. You have to check all those things. If they're not happening, you're going to set that the door is opening, you're going to play your timeline, and then you're going to set those three variables. But you also have to check and see if any of these are true. Give it a delay of 3 seconds, then check again. Because it's possible you might have left the door, come right back to it, in which case we would still want it to open after a delay of 3 seconds. The same thing is true down here. All of this code needs to be incorporated. Now, the default value has to be that the door is closed. The other ones has to be false. And now with all these things in place, let's go ahead and do the one that's already finished. And you can just look at that code there and see. I should now be able to take this door, put it anywhere on the level, and it should work exactly as planned. So I walk up to it, it opens. I walk away, it closed. And if I quickly go up to it again, it'll open. And if I leave, it'll close. And if I come back up, it's going to continue to do that thing correctly. And even if I walk away and gives it a second, it's going to check and see, and then it's going to close the door. So that code is right here for you to look at. I will scroll through it very quickly. And you can pause the video and kind of just take a look. But I wanted you guys to understand the process before. I know some of you are just going to go straight to here and copy it, which is fine, but I just wanted you to see the process before you do that, okay? That's it. And then, of course, you can get to work, but now this door can be anywhere, all over your level. You can use it in any position, and each time it should work perfectly. That door opens, that door opens, that door opens.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Mr. Gino, make a door base.
Yeah, I suppose you
That
can.
would be cool.